Stacey Herbert does an excellent Axl Rose impression. I just want to put that out there.
You're always being ironic on my show and not yours. Can we have the serious, Max?
Obviously, the topic du jour is this idea of fake news, as Adam mentioned it.
It's total censorship and how they're dressing up their most draconian, book-burning attack on free speech the world's ever seen. It just the bravado of it.
Yeah, I mean, so
the daring.
Under McCarthyism, there was something called the communists, and you had the committee to save America from the communists.
Now it's the evil patriots that want to make America great again. We got to shut them up because they're Russian agents. Who the hell believes that?
But fake news is oxymoronic, and that news is, by definition, extemporaneous and open to revision. They say it's the first draft of history. So a lot of what's reported as news, later it's like, well, in the heat of the battle, we looked at it after 6 months and we revised what was then considered news, and this is more of the historical document. So to say that's fake news is, again, it's an oxymoron. All news, to some degree, would have some degree of subjectivity to it, would have some degree of...
But these are the people saying, kill Donald Trump.
News is not pure. It's not a pure... it comes out...
It's all propaganda.
Whole cloth and pure. News has, in many times, has errors in it. You try to do the best that you can. But to say it's fake news, it's just saying we don't want any news. We don't want any news.
That's right. They're introducing the idea that...
We want propaganda. We want only propaganda. It comes from one source. And if you don't report what we say, it's like Britain, where we do most of our shows, has become a totalitarian propaganda state, where the state is now dictating everything that comes out in any major news source. We're constantly harassed, as I was saying yesterday, by Ofcom, the regulator, who gets actually into our face and says, gives us scripts. The UK regulator gives us scripts to read on our show, and then they accuse us of propaganda. The regulator gives us scripts that are detailing our position on energy companies in the UK. That's state-sponsored propaganda. That's right up there at Pol Pot.
And all of this grew out of D-notices. All of this grew out of national security. Oh, you can't talk about where nuclear weapons are stored. Next, it's you can't say you're for Brexit, or you can't say you're against it. You just can have no view.
We couldn't mention Brexit for 6 months.
You can't say anything negative about the migrant situation.
We can't say
it's illegal.
We couldn't mention Brexit for 6 months. They threatened to take RT off the air in the UK, and that's what the regulator said. Okay, and that's the kind of restrictions we deal with. There's no free speech in the UK. The UK is pretty high up on the global free speech index.
And by the way, they want a law passed here the same as England that, quote, if something's foreign media while they invite it in, and then you're an American on that international platform, everything's global, then you can't ever make comments about anything domestic. Well, how are you supposed to do the news then?
I'm sure you covered the repeal of the Smith-Mundt Act on your show. And people need to hear that, I think, that in the, I think it was the mid-70s, there was a bill, an act, a law that said the U.S. government may not propagandize its citizens.
And they repealed it 3 years ago.
In the National Defense Authorization Act. And the reasoning behind it was, well, we do so much propaganda on the internet that it's going to eventually flow into the U.S. So just so we don't get in trouble, you might as well just take it off the table. And this is only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they said we're going to put out fake news. They said even deceptive stories.
No, they said we do put out the Voice of America. They do put out fake news.
So they're saying we're fake when they admit they're fake and passed a law that they can lie to us.
Correct.
Voice of America is an American propaganda arm for American propaganda. It was out. You couldn't broadcast Voice of America in America due to anti-propaganda laws. Then they changed the law, and now you can broadcast Voice of America inside America because they're pro-propaganda. There is no anti-propaganda laws anymore in America. As I mentioned to you a while ago, when I was doing my show in Paris, I was approached from somebody from Voice America to do an on-air hissy-fit resignation on RT. And I
wait, was this the same time when that other girl?
That girl did eventually.
Oh, it came out. It was
2 years later.
Set up. Yeah,
it's all set up.
Yeah.
And I told him, it's.
Of course, we know it's not really Voice of America. It's Central Intelligence Agency.
Right. So they were flashing some big money around. And I'm like, you don't get it. I was a stockbroker in the 80s. You can't bribe me. You're not with that sack of money. You've got to come with a truck full of money or go home.
But he is bribable.
If the truck is big enough, maybe I'll consider
3 18-wheelers.
But the budget of Voice of America wouldn't take me to the place I would need to go to undermine my own show. You freaking losers, get out of my face.
We're such cheapskates. I can't believe
I know. They've only offered me $10 million to sell it. I'm like, listen,
but apparently
not a very big number.
Some rookie journalist babe somewhere, she went for the dough, and
it was a big story.
Where is she now? Completely gone from the face of the earth, sold her whole career down.
She was the girl that kept saying Putin.
Yeah.
Instead of Putin.
More than 20 years ago, when I started InfoWars, I was a fitness addict. As time went on, my metabolism slowed down. I quit working out. I was working 18 hours a day, and I gained right at 100 pounds. I started to exercise really hard again, and I started to try to eat healthier. Started taking third-party supplements. Started seeing some more gains. But when I started working with Dr. Group and some of the other top formulators in the country, they said, Alex, it's all about trace elements and things that the population is absolutely deficient in. Boom, weight started pouring off. Toxins started coming out of my body. Then, by early 2016, I was in the best shape of my life since I'd been in really good shape in my 20s. But the election heated up. I started working 14, 15, 16 hours a day. But more importantly, I stopped taking the supplements because we rearranged the kitchen and somebody took the Lazy Susan off the kitchen table where I took some every morning, and I just kind of forgot about it. It was out of sight, out of mind. And so then I realized this morning, I said, we're going to put the Lazy Susan back on the table, and I'm going to start taking it religiously again. And I'm going to work out like I've been the last few weeks at the same level. It's the holidays, so I'll probably eat more. And whatever the results are, I'm going to publish the findings. It's December 5th, 2016. We're only like 25 days from 2017. And I want to invite all of the info warriors of every race, color, and creed that bleed red blood and love liberty, justice, and truth to make our bodies great again.